Hi, I'm Lionel Oglesby, and I'm here today to talk to Colleen McCormack-Maitland about a new report on the LGBTGNCNBQI plus cultural competency of NYC ATI and Reentry Services. This report was conceived of the Legal Action Center where Colleen and I both work, and the LGBTQI Working Group of the New York ATI Reentry Coalition. So just to start off, Colleen, can you tell us a bit about this report and what's in it?
Sure. So this report was created, like you said, through the LGBTQI working group of the ATI NYC Reentry Coalition. But what it looked like in practice is that a group of formerly incarcerated LGBTQGNCNBI plus people and an organization called TakeRoot Justice did a participatory action research study where they went out and talked to, I think it was 40 different ATI and reentry service providers in New York City. They also talked to people in the community, people who had been in reentry, about the needs and also the ways in which service providers provide services to that community.
So tell me a bit more about why this report's important and why organizations like Legal Action Center should be involved in reading this report.
Sure. So this report is really important because what the research showed is that while there is some really great work going on to be inclusive of people in this community and to provide culturally competent services, there's also a huge deficit. There's a lot of great services out there that don't provide adequate service to people in the LGBTGNCNBQI plus community, that they're limited in what they can offer. You know, for instance, if a trans person comes to them, they might think, we don't have this type of expertise to serve this individual. We need to refer them out rather than to serve them in-house. And that creates additional barriers to service for folks. That creates a feeling of exclusion. So what this report does is it talks about what I like to think of as the rose, the thorn, and the bud. So the roses being that there is already great work being done to serve our community of people who are in reentry. Then the thorn is the ways in which those services are often limited and don't provide adequate, culturally competent, and holistic services. And then the buds are this list of recommendations where the report goes through and talks about ways that organizations and funders in the ATI reentry space can grow their services, can build them into holistic, proactive service models for folks who are LGBTGNCNBQI plus and who have experienced arrest or conviction or incarceration.
This is all really great to know. Tell me a bit more about this working group.
So the working group is hosted by Legal Action Center, but there's a number of wonderful organizations involved that come to our meetings. You know, a lot of people in the ATI reentry space, like Legal Aid Society, Exponents, Osborne. I mean, it's too many to name, but we have a wonderful group of people, many of whom have direct experience with the criminal legal system and who are queer themselves. And we meet to talk about ways in which we can improve services and ultimately reach people who are in reentry and make sure that no one is excluded who needs help. And in terms of this report, you know, why should people read it? People should read it because it was written by and for people with lived experience. People should read it because there's currently a deficit in service provision for folks in this community who are in reentry. And we should all be concerned about that. We should all, everyone who works in this space should want to provide services for everyone who needs them. And this report has really concrete, thoughtful ways that organizations and funders can do that. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, and you don't need to feel shame that maybe you haven't implemented these recommendations before. Just take a look at them now, read them, and see how you can implement them in your org.
Well, I'm super excited to read this.